watching Friday Night Heights on the SEC ESPN Network, where we are coming to you live from Coleman Coliseum. The 4th-ranked Alabama Crimson Tide hosting the 9th-ranked Arkansas Gymbacks. Now, talk about a nail-biter between these two teams a year ago in Fayetteville. In the final rotation, Alabama had 3 falls on beam, opened the door for Arkansas on floor, and they capitalized.
And that's where Amanda Wellick's 9.95 was what gave them the victory. Only their 3rd victory ever against Alabama. Amanda is really an athlete who sets the tone for this Arkansas team.
Now, this meet could also come down to floor again, but this time that's where the Tide will finish, and they have been extraordinary in that event, ranked 3rd in the country.
They have Amanda Jeter and Lauren Beers, who have both scored 9.95s already this season, and they are on floor tonight. If this gets close, it'll be an exciting finish.
Well, the Tide will open up in the Olympic order. They will open up on vault, and they're ranked 10th in the country in this event. Have a couple of great bookends there in McNeer and Beers, and that's a good look at Keely McNeer, the junior from Brandon, Mississippi, in this leadoff spot. All-American had an awesome vault against Auburn, kept her hips flat, no pike down, stuck the landing, and it went for a 9.85, which happened to be her best score of the season.
And that's really what Dana wants to see tonight, that same exact vault.
Good crowd here on hand at Coleman Coliseum. Weather permitting, a little icy outside right now, but it's heating up inside between these two teams. Again, Alabama looking for a little bit of redemption after losing to Arkansas a year ago for just the 3rd time in that long series history. And here comes McNeer down the runway.
It's onto that table, good block, and she got the stick. For the very first girl up in your lineup, Melissa, this is going to be a good night.
Well, so much depth for Alabama. The bookends so far started off well with McNeer. That's going to be a big score for the Crimson Tide. Over on bars for Arkansas. Not going to see too many changes in any of the lineups today for Mark Cook. He thinks he might be onto something with a set of lineups he's got early on. His motto, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Keara Glover will go first. The All-SEC freshman team in 2013.
Once they have those lineups set, it's amazing he has them set so early. But once they're set, it really helps these athletes just build on the momentum week after week. You see that nice transition to the low bar. Great handstand, vertically hit. Oh, a little short on that one. Right here before that pirouette into the double back dismount.
Wow.
And a stuck landing. That's really going to help with those handstands.
So a nice finish there for Glover. As I mentioned, the Olympic order is how we will roll with this meet. 6 gymnasts per team competed in each event. The 5 best scores count. The lowest is dropped for each team's event total. And that is how the scoring will go here in gymnastics. Nickie Guerrero, good look there at the sophomore from McKinney, Texas. She actually exhibition day Yurchenko full last week against Auburn. Warm-ups tonight obviously would decide if she would do the full again or the 1.5, which is a lot more difficult.
That's right. Those are from the rule changes. A Yurchenko full was downgraded from a 10.0 to a 9.95. So the Yurchenko 1.5 is starting from a 10.0, and she did it. And just a slight hop on that landing.
Alabama hoping they can get 4 1.5s this season by the time all is said and done with.
And that rule change is really just to bring variety to the vault. You see so many Yurchenko fulls, and to help reward that higher difficulty that some athletes were already competing.
Big hug from Dana Duckworth, the head coach for the Crimson Tide. And now let's send it to the 3rd member of our crew, Casey Smith.
Melissa, Dana Duckworth told us this week that she kept telling her team it's about how you begin and how you end rotations. And so far down here on the floor, she's telling her girls how happy she is with how they started it. She wants to keep up this momentum. She wants them to relax and just do what they're here to do.
She can do all those things because of all the depth she has on this team this year. We'll talk more about that as the meet goes on. But this is Erin Freier, the senior for Arkansas on bars.
She is a little bit taller than your average athlete, which means you see her swing, but she does such a beautiful swing on this bar line setup. And that swing just ultimately helps each skill. If you can swing from one skill to the next, it helps you perfect them. Just her dismount left. Double layout. Oh, a little bit of a chest down and jump back, but what a start. From that high bar, you see her transition to the low bar in her shoot over, and you can clearly see that vertical position, which judges are looking for throughout their routines. And then that finish, oh, you can see just a little bit of her knees were a little straight. It looked like she hyperextended, which didn't help her on the finish.
This is Jenna Bresette, freshman for Alabama.
Chenko full. So well done in the air. She got the block off the table. Great positioning. Just needs to work on that landing. Here you see, wow, beautiful block. Might have twisted a little bit early, but a lot of potential.
Yeah, she's had a sore calf she's been dealing with. Makes her a little bit anxious off the horse, and we were looking for a little bit of no leg separation here today, just a little bit. And you can see Dana Duckworth talking to her, talking her up. She's just a freshman, got to build up that confidence.
This was her opportunity to build off of her first competition vault, and I really think she did do that here.
And Stephani Canizaro now, the senior for Arkansas. Now, she was out the entire 2013 season with an injury, earned an extra year of eligibility for this season because of it, and is the only gym back with Super 6 experience as a part of that 2012 team.
See that first handstand started off a little bit short, as well as that connection from that high bar. Her handstand was short again. Just having a little bit of trouble. The girls come in to away meets. They have a warm-up to kind of acclimate to the bar set. It looks like she just didn't figure her bar swing out tonight. Little hop on that landing, not her best.
There's a look at Dana Duckworth, the head coach for Alabama in her second season. She said last year was all about protecting the legacy for this gymnastics program, and this season it's about living the legacy. Of course, she was able to bring home the SEC championship a year ago, and her team finished 4th in the country. So I'd say she's got the legacy going in the right direction.
Which is huge for a first-time head coach to win that SEC championship.
Only coach to do it in her first year. Here's Katie Bailey.
Nice block off the table. Great position in the air. Just that little bit of a hop. They really are working well on getting that block off the table. There you see it right there. And she finished her twist completely before passing that vault table. And that is what you want to see to get those high scores tonight.
Yeah, such a big vault. It's just about controlling that landing to get that stuck finish.
And the finishes do typically come from the block off the table.
Amanda Wellick now. You'll hear us talk about her all night long, the all-arounder for Arkansas, the 2014 SEC Freshman of the Year and the leader of the squad.
Such a consistent athlete on every single event. So far, handstands have been hit. Form has been great. High release move there. They are required to do a release move. You want to look for the height in those release moves. And just the dismount. Oh, and sat it down again. She's had so much trouble with this dismount. It's a difficult dismount because it is a blind landing. There's her release move. Great height. Great form. And her dismount. Just great kick in the air. Cowboyed a little bit. Just can't find that landing. It's very difficult, though.
Yeah, she struggled with it when we saw her last week in the Georgia meet. And, of course, Mark Cook and company hoping that could be a score that they can drop. But so far, a couple of 9.775s for Arkansas as we take a look at Kiana Winston.
Wow. That was a vault. Her form and her legs, they just did not come apart. They were sealed tight. No deduction in the air, just that slight hop. They just really need to work on those landings.
Dana says she's got the best amplitude off the horse of anybody on her team, and you see why.
Yeah! And that amplitude, look, she's excited. She knows this is an athlete she can now count on week in, week out for the amplitude, which just ultimately helps those landings.
So far, nothing less than a 9.825 for Alabama on vault. The high score so far, Nickie Guerrero with a 9.9. This is Braie Speed has looked very nice this season. Her comeback year after a knee injury sidelined her at the beginning of last season. Clean and consistent is what she has been so far.
That was her release move on the high bar. You can see just a little bit of the form in the toes. It's a minor detail, but the judges are looking from their hands to their feet. Everything needs to be in line and tight. Giant full right before this dismount was a little bit crooked, which made her not have enough room to kick into that dismount. Will be quite a bit of a deduction on there. There's that release move. Great height, extended arms, but you could see just a little bit of leg separation, leg bend in the air.
So back over to vault in Alabama. This is Lauren Beers who will follow up the 9.875, which is a career high for Winston in this anchor spot. She's got a choice to go with a Yurchenko full with a 9.95 star value or a 1.5, depending on the scoring ahead of her, and so far it's been pretty good. We'll see what she does.
That's the Yurchenko 1.5. Just a large step forward, but in warm-up earlier today, she kept sitting them down. So I think having the excitement and energy from having 5 vaults that were done well in front of her really gave her the energy to finish this vault. There's the block. Great form in the air, a little bit of a foot crossover, and just that step to work on.
Well, Dana's willing to throw some skills out there, some higher skills. Again, if the scores are there ahead of her anchors.
And this is the time to do it. It's early in the season. You want to see how these girls will score with what they're doing.
Now rounding things out over on bars for Arkansas is Paige Zaziski, SEC co-freshman of the year last year. Really hit her handstands in the Oklahoma meet, stuck that landing. We'll see if she can do it again at a 9.9 there. Love that Takacha. It's beautiful.
Paige has a great swing and technique to her bar routine. Everything is just done with precision. Winding up for that dismount. Double layout.
Nice.
Oh, it was a great dismount. You see both feet move at the end of that. That will be a deduction per step she makes. If there's just a slight hop with 2 feet hopping together, that's 1 deduction. You have 2 steps.
The Tide and Hogs off and running here in Tuscaloosa. Both teams settling in nicely after rotation number 1. You're watching Friday Night Heights on the STC ESPN Network. Rotation number 1 in the books here in Tuscaloosa between Alabama and Arkansas. Meet number 1 of our Friday Night Heights doubleheader. And it's the Alabama Crimson Tide on top of the Arkansas Gymbacks by a score of 49-4 to Arkansas's 48-775. And some pretty big highlights there in the vault lineup for Alabama. The 9.825 drop for Bresette, but everything else looking very, very good. Guerrero with a 9.9. And Arkansas did struggle just a little bit on bars. You see the drop score by Amanda Wellick with the fall, the 9.275, but steady Eddie the rest of the way. And with that, we welcome you inside Coleman Coliseum. I'm Melissa Lee, happy to be joined once again alongside my partner, Courtney Coopheads-Carter. And Courtney, the story for Alabama this year, it's all about depth. This is an Alabama team that had 12 gymnasts compete against Missouri, 13 compete against Auburn. They've got 6 freshmen, 3 of them that have already been knocking it out of the park.
It's such a testament to these freshmen to be able to break into a lineup where there are so many capable athletes vying for only 6 spots on each event. And Jenna Bresette competed on vault tonight. She was one of the freshmen, and Dana put her back in the vault lineup for another opportunity. She says when she gets nervous, she gets conservative, but she improved that score tonight.
Oh, you hear the names often throughout the rest of this meet. When we come back, it's rotation 2. Arkansas, their freshman phenom, Leah MacMoyle on vault, and Katie Bailey will try and swing her way to another 9.9 or better on bars when we come back. At 4, it's Missouri and number 10, Texas A&M. Those games also streaming live on Watch ESPN. It's the Tide right now on top of the Hogs inside Coleman Coliseum as we get ready for rotation number 2. The third member of our crew, Casey Smith, has more on one of Alabama's fantastic freshmen.
Well, Melissa, Ariana Guerra has had a back injury that's kept her out of competition for almost 2 years, and Dana Duckworth said that with this challenging journey, what stood out for the freshman is how hard she keeps fighting. And last week versus Missouri, she made her college debut during the floor rotation. And when she got done with that event, she walked over to her head coach. They were both in tears, both had chills. And Dana Duckworth said it just is a testament to how hard she keeps fighting.
I love to see perseverance pay off. I understand the struggle that comes with having these serious injuries, and it's just really great to see her be able to finish her gymnastics career on a college team.
And a great way to tease the rest of this meet. You want to stick around to watch her on floor a little later in the meet. Well, Arkansas will vault in the second rotation. So far, their best event of the season, ranked 7th in the nation. And they're going to need some high scores here to kind of make up the difference for their struggles on bars.
It will really come down to their landings here on this event. They have great vaults. It's about absorbing that landing.
See Leah MacMoyle, getting topped up there. Sophomore. She's been steady Eddie on this event. Was in the vault lineup all last season. Born in South Korea, grew up in New Jersey. And as I said, the epitome of steady. Returning with her, Yurchenko full, and here she goes.
Nice block in the air, and there you go. That is what this Arkansas team needed to really rally behind each other, to get the momentum going, and sticks are contagious.
This is Arkansas's first real road meet. They were in Cancun to start the season, but they know when they start heading around in the SEC to Alabama to the LSUs, it gets difficult.
It gets very difficult, but it gets tight. They have to hone in on all of their little deductions that could come.
And there's the lineup for our Alabama on bar, starting with McNeer. Mackenzie Brannan earned the spot as the anchor. We'll see how she does a little later on. No changes in this routine for McNeer. It's been a little inconsistent with the landing. We'll see how she does.
There's that transition release to the low bar. You need to go back and forth twice in your bar routine, from high to low and low to high. Coming up with her dismount. The double layout. Oh, and she holds on to it. You gotta love the fight.
Oh, the crowd loved it too. Now she had a step in the Missouri meet, nailed it like a rock star against Auburn. And rock starish here, you think, Courtney Kubetz?
Definitely rock starish for her fight. You will get a deduction for a little bit of the arm swing and the bend over, but that is what you want to see in your athletes. You want to see when it gets close and they're about to make a mistake, are they gonna fight for it?
Now both of these teams blow for blow to start this second rotation. Paige Zaziski, the sophomore, still working on her amplitude on vault, along with that control on the landing.
Great speed onto the table. Wow. It wasn't a complete stick, but it was just a slight error.
Casey.
Melissa, Mark Cook told his team right before the second rotation that he wanted them to not focus on what happened on bars. He wanted them to keep focus on moving forward. And so far down here, he's happy with how his team has responded.
That's a team that lost a little bit of gas having the 2 back-to-back meets last weekend. Alabama did the same. He said they lost a little endurance on floor. He said they've got some rest, feeling a little bit better. He wants to see some swagger return back to this team.
Swagger and energy.
Because Amanda Jeter has yet to stick the dismount this season on bars. The way Dana says she can stick it in practice. That is her point of emphasis tonight.
Is a difficult dismount. It's a double front. So far her routine has been pretty good. Just this dismount is where she struggles. It's a double front, blind landing. That was much better. Just that slight hop, chest was up. It's a reason to be excited. You see her really finish off that bar. Oh, great chest up, nice height, no bend in those hips. Hopefully she can continue to build off of that tonight to get the full stick.
Speaking of building, Arkansas trying to do just that here on vault. A couple of 9.875s already out of the gate. Here comes Braie Speed.
Large hop at the end of that vault. That will be a larger deduction because of the size of it. But there's nothing to be disappointed about with this team. They're going to keep their energy up. They have to do it when there's little mistakes, as well as great sticks.
Heading back to bars, we talked about some of the changes in the rules in terms of vault. A little bit on bars as well.
That's right. They're just trying to increase that difficulty on every event. These athletes did not have to change anything of their routines because they're already to that competition level. But ideally, you're really looking for each skill to be performed clean, without any body breaks, and a good flow from one skill to the next.
Katie Bailey has a great routine, her great lines, hits those handstands like that right there. The issue so far has been the dismount.
Beautiful release. She almost did not even catch the bar on that. It was so much height and swing. Control there, a little arch in the back. Really was able to control it. And just that dismount. She does the double back with a full twist.
Oh.
A little close to that bar. It is a slight deduction if you land your dismount too close to the high bar, but she gets so much height. And here's that release move. Look at the height that's created and the swing she's able to get out of it. Shows the judges she did it well. And there's, oh, she's almost underneath that bar. Turned a little bit early.
Well, that was what Dana told this lineup, no rushing. She said they rushed too much at UCLA. It's gotten better, but she wants to see it throughout the lineup. So Sydnie McGlone now, the freshman. An adorable freshman, by the way, from Ohio, who has already won us over Courtney.
She stuck this vault last week. Her height is where this vault excels. She does get that height. Her positioning is great. Unfortunately, she did not get it tonight.
That Yurchenko full can be pretty big.
The round
Just got to control it.
Block. Didn't look like she quite got the block. She does. And that really affected her landing.
Before her, Braie Speed, by the way, had the 9.8. That is a career high for her. She scores much better on vault than on bars to start this meet off for Arkansas. Lauren Beers had a 9.875 on vault for an even better score here on bars. It's a great dismount to finish this routine. We're going to clean up her positioning on that landing.
There's that first transition from low bar to high bar, and she connects it right to the transition back down. 2 releases in a row for her. Little iffy on a couple of those handstands. Into this dismount. Again, this is a blind landing, so the athlete has to have a great release off of that high bar for the landing just to drop down in, and it looked like tonight they just didn't have it in them. It all comes with that practice, just a few more times in the gym.
So Arkansas struggled on bars. Alabama struggling on bars just a little bit here with those dismounts. Amanda Wellick dropped her score on bars after the fall. Average score 9.9 here on vault. See if she can make up the difference. How about that?
They started it off, and now they're finishing their rotation with a stick.
Wow.
Really combines that height and distance well in this vault. It's great to get the height, it's great to get the distance, but ideally you want them together, and that's what Amanda does.
Just excellent awareness with that landing. She's actually got as high as a 9.95 with that vault in her career. Wellick score already in, by the way, a 9.9 for her. This is Kiana Winston now. She's already scored a 9.9 on bars this season. Doing much better nailing that dismount and holding on to that finish position.
She's also one with incredible height in her release move. She looks like she floats during this bar routine. When they make it look easy, that's when you know they're doing it well. It should not look difficult. No muscling in this bars. Beautiful swing into her double layout.
Wow.
Just that slight hop backward. Small deduction on the dismount.
You know what I liked about that was the pacing was perfect.
It had such a good tempo to it, and that just really helps them not rush like we were talking about earlier. There's the height. You can see a little bit of flex speed. That's typically a deduction, but the height really just blows me away.
Scoring building now on bars for Alabama. And much the same over on vault for Arkansas. Nelson with a finish.
You can see a little bit offside of that vault table. When you're looking behind, the judges are obviously from the side. They won't see as much, but they can tell when you go offside, it's a 10th deduction. She needs to not rush that turn off that table. You can see her just move that head right away, twisted right off the table, and doesn't give her enough time to rise in the air before she twists.
1, 2, 3.
Coaching up this team. Off to a rough start on bars. Much better, though, on vault. Still just trying to maybe get rid of the butterflies, this team. Here on the road inside Coleman Coliseum. And now Mackenzie Brannan on the other side for Alabama has earned the right to anchor on bars. Dana Duckworth told us if you look at who sticks their dismounts the most in practice, it's Brannan and Keely McNeer. So you've got to start and finish with those two gymnasts, and that's exactly what they've done.
It's great to have those athletes that do stick more often, builds for the team to be contagious on those sticks. Didn't quite get all of them tonight, but hoping for one more. Great release move there, legs tightened. So far, nice routine. A little bit of arch in that last handstand. Going for the dismount though. Double layout.
Wow. Wow, my goodness. Beautiful stick. Might have had a few mistakes a little bit in the middle of the routine, but this is the way you want to finish. The last thing the judge sees is your dismount, is your finish. What do you want that impression to be? Alabama finishing strong. Arkansas also finishing strong on vault. Casey is with Mark Cook.
Coach Amanda Wellick has a fall on bars, but responds with a 9-9 on the vault. How do you assess her performance through the first two rotations?
Well, she's been having a little bit of trouble on that dismount, so again, didn't really kind of surprise me. Got to get back in the gym and fix it. I mean, we were a little bit tight on bars as a team. That first event, a little short on some handstands. Dismounts were a teeny bit off. They refocused on vault, came back aggressive, had some great vaults, picked up a little bit of ground. We got 2 more events, so just have to go after it.
And you talk about momentum in the last rotation. How do you carry that to the next 2?
Well, you just have to focus on the next event. You know, the past, focus on one thing in front of you. You got to get out there, perform, and just do the best we can do.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Oh, so far so good for his Hogs at the halfway mark. Go grab some popcorn and a Coke. We'll be waiting for you with rotation 3 on the other side. Here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, the Crimson Tide on top of Arkansas by a score of 98-7 to the Hogs 98-05. Both teams struggling a little bit on bars here this evening. Arkansas making up a little ground after they struggled to open up this meet on bars, but vault much better. As you see Amanda Wellick warming up there, and you see her score, it was big for Arkansas, 9-9. And on the other side, on bars, see the 9-9 by Kiana Winston, but both teams struggling a little bit.
They did have moments where it was just uncharacteristic. These athletes need to slow down a little bit, get back in their momentum, in their pace, and do the gymnastics they know how to do.
Well, Amanda Wellick didn't do so well on bars, much better on vault.
This is great. She combines that height and distance you are looking for to really solidify that score. And Kiana Winston on bars, she floats on this bar routine. Beautiful release move there. Down into this connection. I love that release move with her flow.
Well, forearm beam coming up next. Amanda Wellick looking for another strong floor score against the Tide. And Kiana Winston will pull out all the stops on beam when we come back. Well, after we're done here, there's more Friday Night Heights at the #1 ranked Florida Gators squaring off with All-American Caitlin Atkinson and the #8 Tigers at Auburn Arena on the SEC ESPN network, also streaming live on Watch ESPN. Alabama on top of Arkansas here as we head to the 3rd rotation. Now, when you step on campus here in Tuscaloosa, you kind of just feel like a winner. And there's a reason why, right, Casey Smith?
Right, Melissa. Dana Duckworth says it's because Alabama is unique because they don't just have a culture of winning, they have a culture of winning championships. And a little person that knows about that a little bit is head coach of the football team, Nick Saban, who just came off of his latest championship. But he also has a huge part in this gymnastics program. Coach Duckworth said that he meets with the current team and he also meets with recruits whenever he is available. Coach Duckworth said that this athletic department stands together, and it's not a coincidence that 4 teams won a national championship in the same year here for Alabama.
The numbers don't lie. You see the 3 NCAA team championships, 5 SEC titles with the program, with Dana Duckworth as part of the staff, also won the SEC championship a year ago as the head coach. Now, tonight for her team, Dana on beam is looking for that clutch performer.
She wants every athlete on her team to be able to be that clutch performer, which is difficult. She really wants to look at their personalities, put them in different positions in the beam lineup, and see who has it.
Keely McNeer will lead us off. Been working really hard on her rhythm and her dance and her body positioning.
There's a slight body check there. The rhythm is huge on the balance beam. It really helps keep you in momentum from one skill to the next, so you're not rushing through each skill. See a full turn there. That's a requirement. You will see every athlete on the balance beam complete.
Beautiful.
Her series, the back handspring layout. See just a little bit of nerves on her. Not her skills, but everything around her skills, the things that are easy. She's, really confirmed to the judges when she finishes these skills. She seems to have a slight body check, not quite a full 10th worth for each body check, but that one was done much better.
Here's the dismount she's been working on.
Round off 1.5, stuck the landing.
Beautiful.
What a way to finish. She really needed that for her confidence level. To finish off with that stick. A few jitters here and there in that routine. And here it is again. Great height, a little bit of leg separation in the air, but she held on and did not move those feet.
Dana's looking for clutch. She reminded us you end on beam when you're on the road. So it is important to find those clutch performers on that apparatus. Over to floor now. Sydnie Dillard will get the team started. Remember, the Hawks set a school record on floor last year against the Tide. Like to serve some of that up here tonight.
And those high scores come from landings, mostly. You need to work on the positions in the air, but the landings and having a controlled position is what will get them that high score again.
I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, this is a team that lost a little bit of steam on floor at home against Oklahoma in the back-to-back meets a weekend ago. Heard some of their scores.
And that was when they finished on the floor. This is only their 3rd event, so hopefully that energy will be there tonight. And especially against a team like Alabama, who they're hoping to repeat a win over. Front full to front layout to a jump, connecting those skills. You also see their performance factor, their artistry. The judges are looking to see that it presents this routine. Otherwise, they're allowed to give them a deduction. 1.5 into her punch front layout. Great connection there.
Nice start for the senior from Fairview, Texas, playing to the crowd.
The only real big thing was that first tumbling pass. She had a large lunge, so that'll be a higher deduction than if it was a smaller step. And there's her middle pass. Great 3 connection there. It's fun to add a jump, maybe to cover some landings, make it fun and exciting. And a great finish.
Let's send it to Casey.
Melissa, you were talking about how that quieted a crowd. That's exactly what Mark Cook told us that they needed to do. They needed to rock their routine, and that's the best way to quiet a crowd like Alabama's. He said it's a true test of the mental toughness of this Arkansas team.
And this is Avery Rickett. She's a freshman. This is her first time competing for the Tide. So add that to a 4th freshman now, competing and getting in the lineup. Making an early mistake. Hitting the side of her leg on that, you see her limping off. She gets 30 seconds. After a fall, she has time before she gets back on that beam. But she has the option, if she's injured, to potentially not finish this routine.
And remember, only 5 scores count. So if she's injured, they can just put up the 5 that they've got and do away with the 6. This could be counted as the 6 and perhaps the drop.
They could drop it. So since she's not going to finish, that's exactly what they're going to do.
Brian Fischilla will walk off with her as we take a look at the injury again.
This is her series. You see her foot just completely slip down that side of the beam. Then she hits her side of her leg. So I'm not sure which foot maybe is hurt worse. Looks like the first one might have gotten tweaked a little much with all of her weight coming back down on the balance beam, especially with the tight edges that it is.
And you hate to see that for a freshman making her debut here at home.
You just hope she's okay and can come back and redeem herself.
Back over to the floor now in Arkansas. Stephani Canizaro was great on floor. When we saw her in the Georgia meet, scored a 9.825. She also had some issues, though, in the Oklahoma meet a couple days later. She's been nursing a back issue, so we'll see how that affects her here.
But she has great energy and personality in this entire floor routine. Double pike to open it up, and a solid landing, so controlled.
You know, I like Mark Cook said that his kids got some rest, and they actually have a great system in place to make sure that they have plenty of rest. They got a big spreadsheet. The ladies call in to the athletic trainer and let them know how they're feeling, and they keep track of all of that.
So important for a coach to understand their athletes. It's not just about the skills, and for them to tell them corrections. They need to really understand the athlete to figure out how to coach them best. How can I get the most out of them when they compete? Well, that was a fun little leap down to the leg there. Some variety is nice in the required leap elements. One and a half to punch front layout. Great routine and great finish for Stephani.
So far, these two teams have opened up blow for blow with a 9.85. That should be a good score for Canizaro.
Definitely saw the swagger in her eyes. Hopefully that will carry over into the next few floor routines.
Aja Sims now, the junior. The All-American. Coaching staff has tinkered with her beam routine a little bit as the judges are taking a look at the last score. But Sims can do everything and the kitchen sink up on beam, according to Dana Duckworth, but just won't throw out as many tough skills yet. They want her to be solid and successful with the routine she's currently got to build some confidence.
Waiting is tough for an athlete. Takes them out of their zone, their momentum. They're used to having one athlete go, the next one maybe practicing on the side, having their visualization. They have a set routine before they get up on that balance beam. It's kind of throwing her off a little bit.
Sure.
Hopefully she can.
You know, it was actually funny to hear Mark Cook say he actually likes our televised events because it goes very quick and it's structured and there's not a lot of time in between. He's like, I love them. So if he can get Arkansas on the list for every meet, I think he would appreciate that.
When this athlete knows she's about to go up, she's ready to go, she gets herself set.
Right.
And then you tell her to stop, she's like, I got to start everything over again. I don't want to do that.
So again, our judges checking out a score here.
I'm not sure it would be for Avery Rickett, but because she didn't finish her routine, she won't actually have that score they're looking for.
Oh, there's a look at Ginny Rowland, the Florida head coach who's coming back to the Plains in Auburn. The former assistant coach under Jeff Graba will go head-to-head with her old team after we wrap up here in Tuscaloosa. That'll be a great matchup.
Asia has a tough beam routine. She can do every single skill, pretty much. Dana calls it, she has every skill in the kitchen sink. She just throws it all in there. But tonight, she's actually only competing 8 elements. You're required to have at least 8 elements.
Just 8, right?
In your beam routine. and hoping to finish off with a difficult dismount. Beautiful start, solid landing on her series, great leaps. See that 180-degree split she gets in that leap. They're required to show at least one element in a leap connection of 180-degree split. There we go, already the dismount, the round up double back.
Beautiful.
And she nails it.
Wow.
Maybe it's not so bad to do 8 skills.
Now remember, she had a little pressure on her shoulders after the fall by Rickett and just finished beautifully.
There's that double back, very difficult. You can see her holding on. Yeah! Coach reaction is great. Just so excited, just kind of a release of pressure from having an injury before you. Just feel so sorry for them. But then to have Asia come up, knock out that routine, it's great.
Leah MacMoyle on the floor now, scored a 9.875 on vault earlier. We really enjoyed her floor routine in the Georgia meet. Had great tumbling, she played to the crowd well. This will be her first time playing up to this Alabama crowd here at Coleman Coliseum.
Starting off with that double pike. You can see the knees coming a little forward, chest step forward. Wasn't that controlled landing we're looking for. Great second pass. You see she comes close to that line going out of bounds, which would be 1/10, but she didn't.
Just loving seeing the confidence for this sophomore. Again, was not on the floor lineup last year. This is new for her to be competing in 2 events this season. She's done an excellent job.
And her confidence really is what helps her complete these tumbling passes. If you know in your mind you're going to do it, you can. Most of the time you will. Great double back finish. That's the landing we're looking for. Nice and controlled, no steps. And hopefully a smile there for the finish. Her double back, great landing. That comes from that takeoff off the floor. From the back handspring, you really want to set it straight up in the air before you throw those shoulders back for the double.
Asia Sims, by the way, that beautiful routine up on beam netted a 9.95. We knew it was going to go high.
That was a great routine.
It was beautiful. By the way, on the other side, Canizaro with a 9.9 on floor for Arkansas. So some pretty big scores already in this rotation as we see Lauren Beers up on beam. And they changed her leap pass. Got it in the Auburn meet. She did well with it, scoring a 9.9.
I love the reason why. She did a little jump called a cat leap and into another leap, and apparently the judges kept missing it.
They just didn't see it.
So they want to make sure they have a leap pass the judges will see.
And of course, when you change something, you then got to be consistent with it. That's what she's trying to do here tonight.
Thought she could have fought a little bit more to get that on, but it just looked like she was too far to the side. Both feet were turned to one direction. All of her body weight was off the side.
And remember, last season in the same meet in Fayetteville, Alabama had 3 falls on beam. So far, 2 tonight.
That's right. Didn't finish one of their routines tonight, but that will not be a score. They will count everything from here on out. And now with that 1 fall, whatever she gets, this will be counted.
I had to drop the score from Avery Rickett. Came in as an even 6. She wasn't even able to get back up and finish the routine.
So they judged it up until the point of when she stopped. Just this dismount. Oh, you could see her toes kind of clenching to grab onto that, but there was a step, a small deduction, but every deduction is going to start to count for this Alabama team. Her series here, the back handspring into that layup position. You can see her front leg. It's a little bent, both feet to the side, and once your weight is toward one direction of that beam, you don't have much room to save it.
Dana tried to get some information immediately from her gymnast to kind of figure out what to do better next time. So we see Samantha Nelson. This has been her best event so far this season. She's averaging a 9.825. She said the team as a whole learned a lot after that tough 2-meet weekend last week, and using those miscues from that weekend to motivate them in the gym this week.
Double pike to start. Great height in that air. 2 meets in 1 weekend is definitely difficult. They had their week this week to get back on track. A normal week of practice, a normal week of rest, and that was what Coach Cook was hoping would really get them back on track this week. Another 1.5 front layout. Seems to be the connection for this team, but they all do it well.
Now she is really playing up to the crowd. She's got a smile on her face almost this entire routine.
It's really what you're looking for. The fans love it, and honestly, it really does help your whole routine when you can have fun, you can smile, you're not too into yourself and exactly, what's my correction, what am I doing wrong? It's, can I have fun, can I do what my body knows how to do? And there's that finish on that last double tuck for her tumbling pass.
Oh, it's beautiful.
This team, from those last 2 routines, have really amped up a little bit.
Casey.
Melissa, Dana Duckworth down here telling her team that these are the moments that make them better and stronger. She said, do not think about what's happened here on the beam. Keep moving forward. We've got this.
Remember the 3 falls on beam last year. They've had the 2 so far, and they will have to count the 9.35 for Lauren Beers. And they had the slight edge over Arkansas heading into this rotation, and we'll see how it finishes up.
Well, you know, it's just, you know, it's difficult on these athletes having one of their teammates not be able to finish their beam routine. Something must be wrong. Having concern for them, but still having to focus on your beam.
By the way, that opening skill you just saw there from Winston, Dana Duckworth said she was mad at the Crimson Tide crowd for not appreciating it more. She thought they'd go nuts. I did. It was beautiful.
It's difficult. It is different. You see so many of the same ways to get on the balance beam. There's not many, so when you have some great variety, you want to hear the energy from it. Oh. Here we go.
Another fall for Alabama. 3 falls. You see the frustration on her face.
Definitely frustrated, but it's so crucial for her at this moment. She fell, but she needs to finish this routine. It's counting as a score.
Right. Okay, they had to drop the score for Rickett, who could not finish her routine. Lauren Beers had a fall, had the 9.35, and now Winston's fall will also be counted. So she's got to finish strong.
Every 10th will count.
It's almost as if you take even more extra care once you get back on beam after a fall, and maybe sometimes overthink it.
Sometimes it does relax you after you fall just to get back up. You know what, I can do this. There's no reason for me to fall. Difficult dismount, another round up double back. Harder landing because of its difficulty. So you did see a larger step there.
You got it.
And here again is her series, the back handspring. Lay out 2 feet. Just didn't have enough extension in height and punch from that first back handspring into that layout. Landed in the pike shape. Just completely went off the side.
Dana trying to coach him up. Arkansas has nailed it so far on floor. So we take a look at Sydnie McGlone. She had some issues with awareness last Friday night on floor, stepped out of bounds, but Courtney, what I like about her is she didn't let it phase her for the rest of the routine.
She didn't. She was able to finish strong and had nailed her last tumbling pass. And there's potential right here for difficult double layout. The first time she's competed it.
And she did
that
it.
Was exciting.
We weren't sure she was going to do it based off warm-ups, but she did, and she did it very well.
So now she's gotten that out of the way. She can't relax, though. After a skill you've been a little bit nervous about, you got it in, you nailed it. Sometimes you might relax for your next pass. She needs to stay strong. 2.5. What I love about her twisting is her body just stays so tight together. You see nothing, no break in her legs.
She increased the difficulty. the music, on time with the tumbling and the dancing, just beautiful.
You can really see that first pass has amped her up for the rest of this routine. Just the last pass.
Mark Cook calls this freshman a gamer. Big things to come for her this year.
Great way to finish, and look at the team on the side. That's an exciting moment for this Arkansas team. Talked about that double layout, that first tumbling pass she completed. There it is. Great form. And then here we go for that finish. Straight in line with the corner. Great twisting. Just a great excitement.
Now Nickie Guerrero, the anchor on beam for Alabama. They really need a huge score for her with so far the 3 falls on beam.
She has a very difficult series to start off. Instead of doing 2 elements like we typically see, she will do 3.
And they said they do have 3 routines from her. If for some reason she misses one of her skills.
There it is, the back handspring, the layout, and she nails it. A very clean routine so far, what she's looking for. And she has the option to potentially do 2 different dismounts tonight, either the 1.5 or the double full. She goes for the 1.5, and a great choice. Barely a hop on that landing.
She nailed that routine, and boy, did Alabama ever need that. Had 3 falls, had to count the 9.35 from Beers and the 9.275 from Winston.
All right, guys, let's go. Come in here.
Series, the back handspring, layout, what started this routine off. Very, very difficult series. And you know that just sealed it in the bag for Dana when she saw that.
Amanda Wellick now, again, was the thorn in Alabama's side a year ago with her 9.95 score to win the meet for her team over the Tide. She will follow up the 9.9 from the freshman McGlone.
Her height in this first pass is what really sets her apart. She gets that takeoff from the back handspring and just sails it up in the sky.
She's been nursing a sore shin. Go with that E-pass whenever she feels better.
Right, she has the more difficulty. She can put in the floor routine. It's a front double full, but because of that shin, there's no need for her right now. She still has a 10-0 start value with her routine today.
And they don't want to turn it into a stress fracture.
It's a long season ahead. Good connection. Precision in her landings is what really sets her apart. She needs to nail this one more time for her last tumbling pass. The double back, she does. Clean, controlled landings all the way around on all 3 passes.
Casey.
Coach, a tough rotation there, 3 falls on the beam. How do you guys respond?
Well, we have to go over to our house, and we need to go close it out and do some great floor routines. You know, we made a decision what we were going to do this week. We started off great on the first two events. We had a plan, and, you know, that was very unfortunate for our second athlete to truly get hurt and not be able to finish a routine. You know, I don't, in many years, know how many times that's actually happened. So that's something that we had to learn from. But the next moment's more important. That's what we preach. That's what we talk about. So the true mental toughness is about to happen, and we hope that it comes in our favor.
Thanks, Coach.
You're welcome.
Well, the 4th and final rotation will be decided when we come back. Arkansas will head to beam, and the Tide will take center stage and try to make up the deficit here in Tuscaloosa. can change throughout a gymnastics meet, and after the 3 falls on beam, it is Arkansas now with the .45 lead over the Crimson Tide as we head into this 4th and final rotation. Now let's take a look at our belt competing with style. Brought to you by Belt Gear. It's Aegis Sims, who, by the way, had a 9.95, the lone bright spot on beam for the Tide.
This was an incredible routine. Starts off nice with that series, a handspring layout. Everything she did tonight was solid and on. Great dismount. That really sealed the deal for them.
Rotation number 4 on the way. We will see Sydnie Dillard, who hasn't missed a beam rotation for the Hogs, and Ariana Guerra, the freshman, making her mark on the floor next. You will see that lady, Bridget Sloan, 3-time NCAA individual champion, coming up next. The number 1 Florida Gators and the number 8 Auburn Tigers down on the Plains, coming up at 8:30 Eastern time, part of our doubleheader of Friday Night Heights. Well, the score here has changed. The Arkansas Gymbacks now on top of the Alabama Crimson Tide after Alabama had 3 falls on beam, had to count 2 of those scores. And it's going to be a tight finish here. We had Dana Duckworth mic'd up all night long, and she's expecting a dramatic finish in this 4th rotation. Let's take a listen.
All right, Albie, no pressure. Just go do you. Yes, we're going, girl. Great job. Very good. Now we gotta make sure when we land, we put our heels together, okay? All right. Let's be patient on those gorgeous handstands, y'all, but oh yeah, we got the mitts in the house. I saw that coming. Yep, and that can't swing. Hey, but everything else, and the way you added the split jump into the sheet, that's smart. All right, everybody breathe it in. I am confident. I am confident. Breathe it out. Beyond reason. Beyond reason. Now we're gonna go do beam, but I'm gonna switch it up on you a little bit. Are you ready? All right, let's go have some fun.
Alabama will have to dig deep. They will have to try to find out what they are made of here. Again, this 4th rotation, and you take a look at the series history, Arkansas has never beaten Alabama in Tuscaloosa.
Ooh. This would be a big night if they do on Alabama's home turf. This is Alabama's home, as you heard her say earlier. They do not want to give that up.
Yeah, Arkansas, by the way, the last win, again, last season. Why? Because of some struggles and falls on beam, which opened up the door on floor for Arkansas, who will finish on beam. So now they've got to keep it steady.
And look at those scores, 3 9.9s in 1 rotation.
So Arkansas, again, knocked it out of the park on floor just as they did a year ago, but they still got beam to go. They have, however, done very well on beam this season. That was something Mark Cook told us earlier in the week he was very proud of.
They struggled on their first meet on beam, and they made changes to start up some of the more solid, consistent athletes in the beginning of their lineup, and they have kept it that way ever since.
Changes paid off, and as Mark Cook said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Haven't seen very many lineup changes to any of his lineups, actually, in this meet at all. And that's a little rare for a coach this early in the season. As we see Sydnie Dillard, who will get him started. Up on beam, averages a 9.875. And has competed in all 40 beam and 4 rotations since arriving at Arkansas in 2013.
She is steady for this Arkansas team on beam. The reason why she is in the lead-off position, which is very difficult. You set the tone for the entire routines to come.
This kid was a walk-on, earned her scholarship her sophomore year, and is built tough, if you will, based on all the time she has spent on floor and beam. Hasn't missed any rotation there.
And it comes down to their mental toughness. When you stay on beam that many times, you are mentally tough on this event. You might use your whole body on the beam, but it's all in the head. Great landings after each element she's competing. She's finishing it well. She's landing with control. Just the dismount, she wants the same thing to happen. The round up 1.5 off the end, and she nails it.
She fought for it.
She did fight for it, but she didn't move. The dismount, the round off 1.5 to finish off this great beam routine with a stuck landing. That will be close to a 10, Melissa.
So a great start for Arkansas in this final rotation. On beam, Alabama over on floor. They have been sensational here this season. Their best event, they really put on a show. Aja Sims will get them started. And by the way, it was Aja Sims who sort of righted the ship, if you will, on beam for the tide after the 3 falls.
She really came back and nailed every single element in her beam routine. And that's what she's hoping to do to start it off for them tonight. Great double pike, nice height. And a good landing.
Her leaps are just incredible. She's so flexible. And her new choreography, fun and just a little mysterious.
Mysterious with the music, and it's just how she presents it. And there's those leaps you see. They're required, every athlete is required to complete a leap pass in their floor routine. But hers are just extended. Her legs go above that 180-degree split. Nice connection of a 1.5 complex front layout. A little bit of a leg separation in that twist.
Now again, Alabama down 0.45 heading into this last rotation. That was after leading after rotation 1 and 2.
Not only the landings need to be clean, but so does the tumbling in the middle of the air. Great finish in that last pass.
That got the crowd back into it.
Her round-off back handspring, double tuck, great landing. You see her chest up. Great reaction from coach.
Paige Zaziski ready to go on beam. Casey.
Melissa, Mark Cook told us that Paige is just a calming force when she's on the beam. It's her strength. She loves it. And down here on the floor, you saw her taking deep breaths before she got on the beam. Her team responds well to her. Looking for a great performance from her tonight.
Yeah, she loves beam. No problems whatsoever the last 2 meets up there for her. She did change her dismount, which has been a huge help in helping her hit that career high 9.875 the last 2 meets.
Sometimes all it takes is one slight tweak with an element on your beam routine. Continuing to breathe through this entire routine. Most athletes will either have a word or visualize what they're doing in the middle of the routine. It looks like her breathing is her technique to really help her relax and stay one skill at a time.
So far, Arkansas with a 9.85 from Dillard. On the other side, Alabama with a 9.875 from Sims.
That was a little push. You can see both feet were angled toward one side of the beam, and that's what we saw earlier with Lauren Beers falling off one side. She kept her weight in the middle of the beam. Just the dismount, the gainer full. I'd really like to see that open body position. Wait for her to kick that leg up before she flips and twists.
During that routine, Dana Duckworth rallying the troops. Remember, we've got her wired up. Let's take a listen.
We got this, Bama. Let's go do this. Whose house? Whose house? Let's go get it. Come on.
Quick and simple.
To the point. There's one thing they're trying to accomplish on this floor rotation, and that's a win.
Everything counts, every 10. As you see Nickie Guerrero trying to give it to her team here.
Great height in that double pipe.
Loves this fun hip-hop number, very current. Somebody that will also gradually upgrade her routine.
Gets the crowd involved, which is always fun. Wow, great connections there. You see the back 1.5 to the front layout with a full twist. We've seen a lot of just front layout, so it makes it more difficult to add that full twist at the end of that connection.
say so far on floor, Alabama's done a nice job staying in their bubble.
You can tell it's been hard for them. They're really trying to lift each other up with each of their teammates. Great last pass. A solid routine. Exactly what they need. No major errors. Her second pass, the back 1.5 into the front full, and a nice finish. And to finish it off, the same pass, just without that front full at the end.
Hogs all the way around for the sophomore. And Amanda Wellick now on beam. She struggled on bars earlier today, has been a little bit inconsistent on beam this year. When we saw her last week against Georgia, she did score 9.8. She is, by the way, tied with Lauren Beers for the all-around title tonight, 29.05.
She might have had some problems earlier in the night, but like Coach Cook told them, they need to forget about that, move on, get to the next event. And that's one of Amanda's strengths. She's really able to compartmentalize each event and get in the zone. She's really going autopilot. A handspring layout, nice finish. So far, very solid routine.
You watch her and just the way she carries herself. You have to remember she's a junior. She acts like a senior out there, but they get her back one more year. And boy, will that help. One more year, older and wiser and better.
Great side element. Her landings have been excellent tonight on this beam. I haven't seen much of any wobbles. Just a dismount, double full. Slight hop there, but everything else was clean and crisp. Her series, her back handspring with a layout step out. And into this dismount, double full, which is more difficult, an extra half twist.
So Arkansas have a .45 lead heading into the fourth rotation, still waiting on Wellick's score. Right now they're holding on the 4.25 lead. So we see Amanda Jetter now.
Amanda's score should be a high score, so floor really needs to continue, but Jetter, as we said earlier, has been able to get a 9.95 previously. They need that tonight.
By the way, Wellick with a 9.90. Jetter trying to give her own punch here on floor.
Double Arabian, that is a very difficult pass. We said earlier about the tumbling passes. It's the most difficult they're competing here at the collegiate level.
She knocked it out of the park. Jetter did the last time they were here at home, tying her career best 9.95 score.
1.5 to that front full, moves right out of it into her dance.
So much energy in this routine, all by design, of course.
Dana watches these routines and thinks of things she wants to tweak in their choreography as they go. I don't think she's thinking about that tonight. Just this last tumbling pass, the 1.5 to front layout, moving right out of it. The only thing is that first tumbling pass, whether or not the form in the air is gonna get a deduction. She does the double Arabian, so she punches up 1/2 turn into that double front. We'll see what the judges do with that first pass.
What's fun here at Alabama is they get to perform on floor right in front of the student section. You see them all painted up there, trying to cheer them on. But as Dana said, it's not just showing up and showing out to the people there, it's to the people who are up in the high seats. You got to reach them as well.
There are people all up in this arena. They really do need to perform.
Erin Freier now on beam for Arkansas. He's moved around in the lineup the last couple of meets and some of the changes that Mark Cook made, and he feels pretty confident about what he's putting out here tonight.
she has any nerves, she's definitely releasing them. Performing one skill at a time, being nice and strong. Their series. They know how close this meet is. They know they have to hit all of these skills, but they also know in their head, if they work too hard at it, if they think too hard about the skills, trying to force it, it won't happen. And she is not forcing these elements. She's really relaxing and letting them work for themselves.
Arkansas still looking for their first victory of the season. They put out some good scores so far to this point, but still winless.
And what a win this would be if they could capture it tonight. Just the gainer full off the side. Oh! You see that slide hop? It was a beautiful routine up until that dismount. Every 10th counts right now, and that will be a small deduction. See her gear up. She's a little off to the side. Doesn't really complete that full turn. You see, she's facing the beam a little more than she's facing away from it. You really want to complete that full.
Amanda Jeter, by the way, scored a 9.925 on floor, which is slowly chipping away at this Arkansas lead. They now lead it by 0.4. And now we get to see Ariana Guerra. This is the young lady that made Dana Duckworth cry last Friday night with her beautiful floor routine. That scored a 9.9. Huge score for a freshman that hadn't competed in 2 years.
Huge score. It just shows this freshman has a lot of things coming in the future. Nice opening double tuck. A little bit easier of an element. Looking to it, maybe upgrade later on. Has the ability to, but tonight all they need to do is be consistent and hit.
And the lead for Arkansas started out 0.45. It's down to 0.4 as we're waiting for scores to come in.
Great tumbling sequence there. You see she just continues the flips. It's fun when there's some variety and something different in these passes. Really control this landing so there is nothing the judges can take. Finishes with a double pike. Ooh. Didn't quite get that rotation around. A few steps forward. It's going to be a big deduction.
Here's a listen to Dana Duckworth prior to this routine.
Here is the double pike, her last pass where she steps forward. That will be a significant deduction and hopefully a score that they will be able to drop.
And 6 gymnasts go, 5 scores count. Sydnie McGlone up on beam now. Got into this beam lineup for the first time last Friday. Scored a 9.45, then a 9.575 against Oklahoma. She's making some adjustments to compete at this level.
But I love what she said. She evaluated herself, and she feels like now she's really settling in and figuring out how to make this routine click. And that series shows she could potentially do it tonight.
Come on, Chad. Come on.
A wobble there, so there will be a deduction anywhere from a half a tenth up to 3 tenths is how much the judges can take for some of these errors on the balance beam.
Come on, Chad.
It's just like anything else you're trying to get better at. You've got to go out there and get the rep.
Every time you compete, it's a new learning experience. You can really learn from each competition. And even if you make mistakes, you really want to learn from those to get better. Round up, double full dismount. She sticks it, her chest is a little bit low. Slight deduction for that, but no step. This will definitely be her highest score on the balance beam. And the team reaction. They know they need that.
Top heavy with upperclassmen. Arkansas is 2 freshmen in the squad. And she was trying to help her team to back-to-back victories over the Crimson Tide and back-to-back seasons, as we see Lauren Beers now on floor.
Now this is a big routine here. She starts out, double layout. Wow, beautiful form in the air. Chest is up on the landing.
She loves epic floor pieces in terms of music. Dana had to convince her, you gotta add some pop to this. We'll hear it in just a minute.
There we go, added some variety to the dance. Also a little breathing time as you see her slowing down her pace and her tempo at the end here. It's helping her to get a little more of that energy for this last tumbling pass.
This routine has hit for a 9.95 for her this season already. That was the score for her in the Missouri meet. Big finish.
Double tuck. Not quite controlled on that last tumbling pass. She didn't step, but you could see her kind of step right out of it. You want to see full control to make sure there was no deduction. Wow, what a first tumbling pass. Her double layout, height, positioning, pretty textbook there. And then finishing out, you see, she had it, but did she? Coach definitely thinks so.
So Arkansas now trying to hold on to this lead. Samantha Nelson, as you see, needs a 9.825 on beam to win this meet for Arkansas.
Great series, great confidence in just how she is moving along the game tonight.
So she needs a 9.825, her career high, a 9.825, which she picked up on beam against Oklahoma.
Nice punch front there. This really looks like her strong routine. What a pressure situation for her to be in right now. And yet she looks so calm. Just the dismount. Round off 1.5, slight hop. But that routine was great. She will probably get that 9.825.
You got some Razorback fans here in the house, and you hear them cheering them on. And by the way, why? Because Arkansas just won this meet.
This is huge. Arkansas, for the first time in Alabama's home, beats them.
First time here in Tuscaloosa. The best Alabama can do now is a 1.9655 to end this meet. And they've got Mackenzie Valentin wrapping it up on the big stage.
Double front now. She has some power. She has so many difficult skills she could do. Goes for that double front. Slight error on that first pass. She might not know the outcome yet, but she still needs to perform to the best of her ability so she can have the chance to get back in the lineup in future meets. looking good so far. Other than that few steps in that first pass, Lynn needs to just finish clean, a strong, controlled landing, which she's completely capable of. Here it is. Last pass, double pike, great height. It was a great routine. It's not going to do it to seal that deal tonight. Dana might know that.
It's something about this matchup between the Hogs and the Tide. And the Hogs, the last 2 seasons, have had Alabama's number as they walk away victorious for the first time in Tuscaloosa, and they pick up their first win of the season. We've got that man, Mark Cook, on the flip side. The Hogs pull off the big upset over the 4th-ranked Alabama Crimson Tide by a score of 196-7 to the Tide's 196-4. And Casey Smith is standing by with the winning head coach, Mark Cook.
Coach, you guys had never beat Alabama at Alabama until tonight. How do you describe this feeling?
Well, it's a first for our program. We started back in 2003. 14 years we've had this program since I started it. We've never beat them at home. So this was an iconic moment for our program. And I know they had some problems on beam, but our girls mentally were very, very tough on that last event on beam, and they rocked. So great fans, great program, and very, very elated tonight.
You mentioned mental toughness after coming off a tough rotation at bars to see how these girls rallied. How do you assess what they did tonight?
We were a little bit tight on bars. We played a little safe, and we just said you have to go for it, just to be aggressive. So they were aggressive on the last 3 events, and on beam especially, they were really aggressive. That's about the most aggressive I've seen this team in years. So it was great to see them step up and take advantage of an opportunity.
And speaking of taking advantage of this opportunity, how do you build on this moving forward?
Confidence. This is confidence going into Auburn next week and the rest of the season. So when you can go into an arena, this is a great crowd here. When you go into an arena like this with the noise and just the loudness of the crowd and be able to still perform, that's great preparation for SEC and postseason championships.
Thank you so much, Coach.
Thank you. Appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Courtney Kupets, final thoughts on this one?
They started off rough with that bar rotation. He's right. They held back. Their handstands were not hit. But to come off and finish the way they did, this is huge, leading into what he wants to be in the top seed of the SEC.
And now you got to turn around to the flip side. Dana Duckworth, you need to get some work done on beam.
This is big for them. They've been growing every meet. And yet now tonight they fall 3 times. Last year, this is what really propelled them into the rest of their season when they fell.
And they ended up winning the SEC championship a year ago. So some things to work on for Alabama. Mark Cook and the Arkansas Gymbacks will take the victory here today. Amanda Wellick, by the way, taking home the all-around title this evening. So a fantastic finish for Arkansas here tonight, their first victory over the Crimson Tide in Tuscaloosa. For Courtney Kupets, Carter, and Casey Smith, I'm Melissa Lee saying so long from Tuscaloosa. It's Arkansas with a win. Coming up next, more college gymnastics as we send it to Auburn Arena. Martin Caffey, take it away.